Quick, think of a memorable boss fight that you've beaten. Now, can you tell me how old you were? How long did it take you to beat it? And most importantly, who you were with, if anyone. If you can't answer any of those questions, then it's not the kind of boss fight we're going to talk about. So, anyone else play games as a kid? No? Just me? Alright, let me tell you what my favorite game was when I was a kid. It was a pretty niche game. You probably never heard of it. The name was
New Super Mario Brothers.
Wii. This game blew my mind as a kid because it was technically the first game I ever owned on my first very own console, the Wii. And I kind of felt like I was betraying my boy Sonic because honestly, up to that point, I hadn't really played many Sonic games, if any. I just thought he was awesome, and he still is. But that's besides the point. So yeah, for Christmas, 2006, that's right, I'm old, I got the Wii and the Bros and beat the whole game in like a month. Yeah, I sucked. But honestly, the first time I beat it, I didn't really feel anything. I don't know, I guess it was cause Bowser in this game was kind of a bum. You kind of just juke him out a little, then drop his ass. It's not that crazy. Then you escape from the castle, which was cool, but still not anything that exciting.
I mean, it's alright, like...
But then, that summer, I went to visit my cousins, and guess what they got for Christmas? That's right, a dog. Oh, and also a Wii or whatever. But yeah, so they got a Wii, and guess what they also got? Wii. And so that was pretty much all we did my whole visit. And it was really nice. This was actually the first time I ever met my cousins. And it was obviously super awkward, like it always is when meeting relatives you didn't even know existed a month before you met them. But this game was a way for us to bond. Even my older cousin, who was a teenager at the time, playing with a bunch of dweeb kids. And throughout the run, we died a lot. A lot more than when I played it by myself. And the majority of those deaths were just us throwing each other off the map and popping each other out of that bubble and dropping each other to our deaths. But we never really got mad. That much. It was just fun. And when we finally got to that Bowser boss fight that was once so underwhelming, it was still very underwhelming. But this time, I didn't kick his ass all on my own, but with the family I didn't even know I had when I beat him the first time. And it was awesome. But that escape from the castle sequence after was a very different story, because trying to do all those jumps with 4 people bouncing off each other's heads was a nightmare. These days, I don't see my cousins that often. The last time I saw them was like 3 years ago. And that makes me really sad, especially when I remember how much fun we used to have playing this game the first time we met, and every summer after that for almost my whole childhood. And sometimes I wish we could all just sit down together again on the same couch with the recliner that never worked and beat this boss one last time. So, let me ask y'all another question. Does anyone here have a brother? Yeah, probably a couple of y'all. At least 3 of y'all for sure said yes. Well, I don't. I have a step. He's pretty cool though. And yeah, growing up together since the age of around 10, we played all the classic brother games like Halo, Left 4 Dead, and a little Xenoverse too. Big Bang Kamehameha, by the way, is total bullshit. But honestly, the moments of gaming with my brother I remember the most came from games that we didn't even play together for that long at all. Or ones that he didn't even want to play and I had to beg him to play instead of playing 2K for the 1 millionth time.
Who have thought
About what?
that a young buck like you could actually do the right thing and avoid getting his sorry
I had a
butt kicked
teammate
out the
hold me
game?
I'm sorry, but sports games are so boring. And no, it's not because I'm ass.
Dear basketball.
One of those games that I had to beg him to play was a little known game where you build anything you want and craft your own armor and weapons to fight some bosses. That's right, Minecraft. and we got bored of it pretty quick. Hey, I mean, we only had an Xbox One. We couldn't get any of the cool Minecraft mods. But then we played another crafting game, and in my opinion, the superior block game. Terraria. Terraria is awesome, and the thing that made it so much more fun for me and my brother were the bosses. We would spend hours setting up the arenas where we would fight them and collecting all the materials to make the weapons we would need. The Tetra Blade took us like a week to make. It was also fun just picking what class we would work toward. We both picked Summoner, but he called dibs first, so you know what? I respected it, and I chose Mage. The bosses I remember us being the most vividly were the double eyeball one that I can't remember the name of right now, and the Wall of Flesh, which took us fucking forever to beat, and having to set it up each time was so ass. And the boss I remember the most was obviously the Moon Lord. At the time, this was the final boss in Terraria, and after the months of playing, and after beating all the bosses and getting the best gear at the time in our respective classes, we finally were able to beat the game, after like 30 tries. And that was it. There wasn't really anything else to do in the game after that, at least to us. Yeah, you could build some stuff or make some houses or something, but if that's all we wanted to do, we would have just played Minecraft.
Insanity SMP. It's hardcore Minecraft.
But yeah, that was the first time I was able to convince my 2K addicted brother to try out something different.
That's right, we all have that attitude. The train will be rolling in no time. Let's do it.
And when he got even more addicted to it than me, it was the most satisfying I told you so I ever got to say. Now, if I asked you to tell me a game series that is known for its bosses, what would you answer with? A lot of you probably would have said Terraria. But there's a chance you might have said the Souls series. The Souls series has some of the best bosses in the business. Ornstein and Smough, Artorias, Sif, Jabba the Hutt. But my favorite boss in the series, that I still remember almost everything I was doing when I finally beat him, was the Nameless King from Dark Souls 3. Dark Souls 3 was actually the first game I played from the series. I used my birthday money to buy it and played it for an hour and died like 30 times to the first boss and gave up and didn't play it again for like a year. But when I came back to redeem myself, for some reason, it all clicked and I could not stop playing this game, and I even pretended to be sick to get off school just to play it. And when I got to the end, I found out that there was a secret location with a bunch of dragons and a secret optional boss that kinda sucked. But then I found out there was a second optional boss, and this boss was insane. My dad was out of town at the time, so I had the living room all to myself, with the big ass flat screen TV we had. That's right, I had a flat screen TV that I was never able to use because my dad was always watching some Mexican show. But this time, I got to watch my ass get beat over and over again in HD. Eventually, my brother saw me in the living room getting destroyed and heard me yelling at the TV and did the classic "I got next" gesture. Which was crazy, since my brother had always said that the Soul series sucked, and you may think it was because he couldn't beat the first boss like me, but no, he beat it first try, and no, that definitely did not annoy me. But this time, he got his ass whooped just as hard as me, and then it was my turn, and then his, then mine again, and it went on like this over and over all night. We even ordered some DoorDash to keep our energy up, and you probably think we ordered some McDonald's or Popeyes, but no, we wanted some pancakes for some reason, so we ordered IHOP from DoorDash, something I don't think anyone had ever done before. So after we ate our $50 pancakes with a delivery fee and a $10 tip, because I don't want the driver to spit in my food, DoorDash is bullshit, we finally beat the boss after like 10 tries. Then we realized it was only the first phase, and it took us another 100 tries to beat the entire thing. I was the one that beat it, by the way, and my brother never played another Dark Souls game again, even when I begged him. I still don't know why he was so determined to play the game that he had no interest in before that night, but what I do know is that it was one of the most cherished moments I ever had with my brother, and one that I'll never forget. That was almost 10 years ago now, and since then, me and my brother have moved out from our childhood home and live in different cities now, and are doing our own thing. and I doubt that we'll ever get another chance to just sit down and get our asses kicked by the same boss until one of us got lucky enough to land the final blow. But I'm so happy that I was able to have those experiences at all, and I hope one day we'll be able to again. And there are many reasons why I remember these moments, but the main one for sure was just the people I was with. Whether it be my cousins who I haven't been in a room all together with in almost a decade, or my brother who I haven't played a game with that wasn't
Fortnite.
And while that's fun, I do miss the day of just some old-fashioned couch co-op. That's how most core memories are made, with other people, whether it be a relative or a friend. But that doesn't mean you can't make a core memory all by yourself. Sorry for the back-to-back Soulsborne Ring examples, but I couldn't think of a better example from my life to end this video on. Elden Ring is without a doubt the game I looked forward to the most before it came out in my life. I found out it was in development in high school, right after I had finished beating pretty much every game in the series, and I just wanted more. I kept up with the news and theories, and when the release date was revealed, which ended up being like 2 years later, then that made me just a little depressed. But when it finally came out, I bought it the minute it released and beat it in about a week. I wasn't the chump that got murked 30 times before even getting to the first real bonfire. I was a Souls veteran at this point. And while I still got my ass kicked a lot in this game, I eventually would learn to adapt to each boss and have fun while doing all my attempts. Except for the Godskin duo. That boss is fucking terrible, and my least favorite from this game for sure. But after all that, I finally got to the last boss, Radagon. And guess what? I beat him. First try.
Bullshit.
Okay, that's not true, but I did beat him in like 10 tries, so I was pretty much a god at this game. But then, just like me in high school, it had another phase. Technically, the Elden Beast. This was bullshit. I mean, come on, 2 bosses back to back? But eventually, after another 10 tries, I finally beat both of them and got to see my baddie, Ronnie, whatever her name was. And after that, it was over. Yeah, I did some more stuff in the open world and cleaned up some loose ends, but the game was pretty much over, at least until the DLC. But after that boss, I didn't really play any other game since that gave me the same feeling that this one or any other Souls game did, or any game in general really. Looking back, me beating this boss fight kinda symbolized the end of my gaming journey, or at least the end of the one I had been on since I got my Wii almost 20 years prior. I didn't even finish the DLC when it came out, not because it was too hard, even though I did get hard stopped at the Divine Beast, but I didn't feel the same urge to keep trying. I still play games, and I'm not at all trying to say that if you still play games as an adult, that's bad. I'm actually really jealous, because for me personally, no new core memories in gaming have been made since Elden Ring. But I still hold out hope that one day I will make more. Whether that be in a new Mario game, when me and my cousins finally reunite, or maybe when me and my brother meet up and find a game to get addicted to again. Maybe if Treyarch would ever make a classic zombies feeling mode again. Or maybe I'll make a core memory just by myself. Hey, maybe that new Souls game that's being made will be what gives me a new one. Even though it's only gonna be on Switch, which is total bullshit. But I'll probably still buy a Switch 2 just to play it, because I'm hoping that one of the bosses in that game I'll be able to add to my core memories. So, what's your favorite boss? Which boss or just gaming moment has become a core memory for you? Also, let me know your favorite Soulsborne, Ring, Kiro boss. Well, that's all for me, guys. Bye.